We lost a few of you, but I'm going to make this go quick. As Dave and I were talking, about this opportunity to get up here, obviously I want to share with you guys a couple things about, we're all in sales, and so I have to do the gratuitous sales pitch. So I'm going to pitch you guys on something today and hopefully make it meaningful to you. But I just wanted to share with you a couple of things before I do that. We're videotaping this, so for any of those that have left, we can just point them to it and they can watch it. So a few years ago, I went to get glasses. I'm like the rest of you, I'm starting to have to wear glasses, and I wanted to illustrate this. How many of you have taken this test before? Okay. So I had to get up there against the machine, and the gal, so nice, but I was leaning forward, and she goes, "Oh, wait a minute, excuse me. Are you wearing contact lenses?" And I said, "Why does that matter?" And she goes, "Well, you can't take this exam with contacts in your eyes." And I said, "Well, I have them, but I only need them when I read, so I have flip-ups." She goes, "Flip-ups?" I said, "Yeah, hang on a second." There they go. Anyway, so I lean into the machine, I'm looking right into that thing, and she's looking through the other side. And if you think about what this machine does, so she's looking into my eyes, and we can hear each other breathing, there's no talking going on, and she says to me, "How long have you had them?" I said, "A while. A few years ago, I was in a bizarre speed reading accident. I hit a bookmark, and I've needed it ever since." And then her head comes around the side of the machine. She looks at me, and she goes, "You don't have flip-up contact lenses, do you?" And I said, "No, of course not. I'm here to get glasses. What do you think?" And she goes, "I'm so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed." I said, "You're the professional. Do you see them in there?" And she goes, "I swear I don't know what I'm seeing right now. I'm beside myself." So anyway, we had a discussion, but I said, "I'm not going to say anything. You work here." So I left. I came back 2 weeks later to get my glasses. I walked into the front desk. I said, "Hi, I'm John McCurdy. I'm here to get my glasses." The lady opens my folder and she goes, "Oh, you're the one." And I go, "What does that mean?" Anyway, and then the technician went by and I looked at her and I said, "You told him, didn't you?" And she goes, "I did. After you left, I made it for a few hours and I finally had to come clean and just tell them." She was so embarrassed. But I like to tell that story because I like to tell you a little bit about the fact that I looked at her as a professional, and I think all of you guys are looked at by your companies as a professional. I don't need to get up here and sell you guys on PRM. I think this event has done an amazing job. In fact, we've really tried to not be salesy. I hope you guys have noticed that and appreciate that, because you guys aren't dumb. You're here. I don't know if you know this, but there's been about 30 folks that are not yet customers that have come to check this out. And I want to thank the customers that have been talking to those that aren't yet customers and shared their experience, because these people are making career decisions. They are the professionals in their companies, and they're the ones going to have to live with this system when they're done. I'm going to take you to this other little story real quick. A few years ago, when I say a few years ago, my first sales job. I had sold a technology on VAX VMS, and I'm dating myself a little bit there, but VAX VMS actually used to really exist out there, Digital Equipment Corporation, and we would sell this software that allowed the help desk to connect over the network to the end user, and the guy in help desk could actually take over their keyboard and fix whatever it was they were dealing with. And I'm selling that technology out there in the market, and thought I knew what I was doing, so I sold a gentleman out in the Midwest in Iowa a few copies of this thing for his environment. And in the VAX environment, this is back before wireless and all those things, you actually, if you were going to connect a remote terminal, you had to have an RT device in there. So we had a little thing called RT-MON that was an extra connection. I didn't know enough to ask him about it. So this gentleman calls me up one day. He says, "John, did you sell me a car without a steering wheel?" And I was like, "No, why? What's going on?" He goes, "Well, I can't see any of my RT devices. And you told me that I could see all my devices and take over." And I said, "Whoa, I didn't know you had RT devices." And he says, "I do, so what's the deal?" And I said, "Sir, I don't think I sold you a car without a steering wheel, but I think I sold you a truck without a trailer hitch. I'm really sorry. Let me see what I can." He goes, "Well, how much is it?" So I told him, and he said, "Fine, send me an invoice." Point being, how many of your partners out there are good salespeople, but they don't know enough about your product. They don't eat, sleep, and drink it the way your direct reps do. And that's one of the biggest things that I dealt with when I was running the sales over at SourceFire, was a lot of my direct reps were frustrated because they said, I'm tired of cleaning up the mess all the time with partners that don't know enough questions to ask. Well, how do you get that out there? I wish I had known PRMs even existed when I was doing my SourceFire gig. I feel sorry for the things that I asked my channel team to go do and the data I asked them to bring me. I was asking for things that took a lot of phone calls, emails, and as Mark likes to call it, rock fetches. I sent him on a lot of rock fetches. So I only wanted to get that out there because you guys are selling your companies on what it is you're trying to bring in, and I wanted to use this time that we had together to at least share a couple of ideas on how you can sell your company to help you bring this in, because it's still not industry standard yet, but it's getting there, and it's getting there real fast. It is going to be a standard pillar in the lineup of technologies that you need. So let me show this video really quick. You guys have seen this a couple times, but this is my version of it. That's one of my favorite places on earth, down at Lake Powell. And that was fun shooting that video, by the way. If I can get that slide back. Managing the momentum. Every one of you in here is in sales, whether you're in marketing, sales administration, anything, we're all selling. That's how things work. In fact, I had a great teacher in school that told me, he said, John, nothing happens in this world until somebody sells something. And if you think about economy, that is correct. That's what goes on. So when you're in the selling motion, you want to leverage the momentum that's in place. And so what I wanted to offer you today was a little bit of momentum to help you as you guys go back to your companies. I'm going to skip this because of time. I had a couple of learnings I wanted to share with you guys. Actually, this first one, I will just tell you this. I used to teach teenage kids in the class, and I learned real quick that if a child can't learn the way you teach, you better evolve and teach the way they learn. Well, when I started in my sales career, I adapted that, and I think many of you are doing that. In fact, we had a couple presentations yesterday where we talked about this. If a customer and partner don't buy the way we sell, we better sell the way they buy. And that's what I love about the intelligence and those things that you can get out of the PRM system. So, and then I don't need to go into this one. I guess I've got to get you to your survey. So let's try. How many of you on your app could really quickly tell me we could only get 5 of our solutions in there, so we compiled a bunch of them together. But if you'll bring up your app, I want to know which of the modules that we have could probably help you transform your company the quickest. What are the things that you're leaving here with the most excitement about, and of course want to have the most momentum about as you work with your company to bring that in? So let's bring that up, and here they come. Intelligence. All right. Okay, let's see if I can go back one now. Everybody, so I want to offer you today my Transcendence Attendance Momentum Incentive. That's a mouthful. And I've got to make sure we get the word out to those that had to go catch flights and leave. But you took time out of your schedule to come here. We appreciate that. I really appreciate the customers that have also taken time to help those that have come here that are still doing due diligence on a PRM system. But basically, if you want to go back, go to your boss and say, hey, thank you for letting me attend that thing. They've offered me a little incentive because there was a cost to come here, whether it was financial on a flight or whatever, but there's also time out of the office. I want to offer you an incentive that if you can pick up the module that you're after, additional services that you need, if you're someone here for the first time and you want to pick up the product, we are going to offer you, for being here, a special incentive. I need you to put in the app what you're interested in and send that to me, and I will make sure our team is in touch with you quickly to have those discussions and help you in how you would present that to your company to help sell them on that. Because in the end, you can't usually bring a PRM system in alone. It takes collaboration between multiple departments, as those of you that have bought have already learned, and those of you that are looking to buy will learn. But you can do it. There's people in here that can help share with you those things. So send that through to the app for me, and we will respond to you over this next week. Managing the momentum to get stuff done. I do want to tell you this last story. And it's because it's a channel story. I was in a meeting, one of those meetings I think many of you have been in, where they were asking the value of the channel and all this stuff. And a bunch of the leaders were up on the whiteboard, and they were all, it was interesting. Everybody had a triangle in that meeting. Everybody. And business process systems, those kinds of things. I mean, you guys have been in the meetings where everybody's drawn their little eye chart or whatever. And it finally got to my turn, and I walked up to the screen, or to the whiteboard, and I drew a triangle, but I drew a different one. I drew the one on the left there. And I was attempting to draw this standard universal symbol that people know. Years ago in college, I sold shoes. I sold shoes for 5 years. And I was amazed that people would come in, and sometimes these ladies would come in with the coolest outfit, the coolest handbag to match it, the coolest belt, accessories, whatever. And it was neat to see. And they'd come in and I'd have the perfect set of pumps, shoes for them, okay? And it just tied the ensemble off perfectly. But often what happened is they're like, these are like $80. You know what? I've got a taupe pair of shoes at home. I'll make that work. And they get so close to having the perfect situation. So I go up to the board and I tell that story in this meeting, had everyone's attention, and I said, I'll never forget the day I watched this lady walk out. She had her new dress and everything with her, but she was going to go home and wear her brown shoes. So I said, guys, we are hitting on all cylinders here at this company when it comes to our delivery to our products, delivering on time. We've got excellent tech support, but when it comes to how we're managing our channel, we are wearing brown shoes. And everybody remembered that. And I used to use that as I talked to them when we were trying to stimulate the things we were doing in the channel. It got to the point where I could just say to people, you're wearing brown shoes, you're stopping before you're hitting full momentum. I don't know if that helps you, but that's a great illustration that I use to help us do more with the channel. But again, I didn't have a PRM system. I didn't even know they existed, so I couldn't even go after one. But anyway, I appreciate this opportunity to join the company. I appreciate you for your attention here. I know you guys have flights coming up. Thank you, and we will review the data that you sent us, and we will be in touch. Thank you.